Hi, welcome back to Cooking with Dad. Today we are making one of our family's favorites, Greek soup. Now, apparently this is sort of a historical soup. I can't remember exactly the name, ove, which means egg, but it's a lemon chicken soup with orzo. And you thicken it with egg. That's why the name egg is in it, or ove. I'm not Greek. It's all Greek to me. I don't know. Anyway, I've been making it for a while. We love it. It's easy to make, not a lot of ingredients. I think it's something that anyone who watches this will be able to make, no matter your skill level. This is easy, and it's really, really tasty, especially the next day. So let's get into it. So first, let's talk about ingredients. There's not much to it. Right now, I have some chicken thighs, leg quarters on the stove cooking. Just give you an idea what those are, what those look like. You want to cook those for maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But, just your typical leg quarter. It's a leg and a thigh. So that's boiling in the water. I want to use this water. So see the size of this pot. It's, I forget, maybe 8 quart, something like that. And I've probably got a gallon maybe in here, a gallon of water. Maybe a little bit more, gallon and a half. And that's going to be the base or the stock of our soup. So the other things that we need are, you're going to need lemons, 2 lemons. You're going to need 3 eggs, depending on how much you make, but 3 is a good safe number. This stuff that I use all the time, I've showed it to you many times. Keep this stocked in your kitchen because you can use it for so much stuff. And then orzo pasta. Some people make it with rice. You can make it with rice. I've done it with rice. It's actually good. If you don't have orzo, don't have rice. If you have spaghetti, you can make it really, really tiny and small. But a little bit of pasta in there really makes it. And that's about it. A little salt and pepper. And that's going to be your soup. It doesn't sound like much. Oh, as far as equipment, you're going to need, if you don't have a zester, get one. This is actually a microplane. I might have showed it to you in another video before. It's a really good zester. There are others too. I have another one as well, but I really like this. And when it comes time to zest these lemons, and just a knife to cut them. So let's get to it. You know what I forgot to tell you? Forgot to tell you about Parmesan. I also use Parmesan. This is a good brand. It's a Kroger brand. It's like their kind of Kroger bougie brand, but it's probably one of my favorite Parmesan cheeses. It's just so tasty. Don't use the stuff out of a can, the green can with the yellow top. Don't use that. Get a block of, a wedge of Parmesan and use it. This is it's a good stuff, but when you're cooking them in soup, it doesn't really matter too much what kind of brand you get, but this is what we always buy, so it's what we got. All right, I think you can see me. When I'm zesting a lemon or a lime or orange or grapefruit, when I'm zesting fruit, I always get something to catch it. Paper plate's great because it's got a little bit of edge to it. You can throw it away after you don't need it. I use this also for, if you got to chop a bunch of vegetables or something. I don't know why I always use a paper plate. You can use whatever. But what you want to do is you want to get a little pattern going. Oh, my bread might be ready. Get a little bit of a pattern going. And you see how can you see how it's taking that off like that? And you see here how that's what you're trying to collect. And man, it smells so lemony. That's going to give you your lemon flavor that you want in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the zest of 2 lemons and the juice of 1, but only going to use the juice at the end, because if you cook the juice, it doesn't taste lemon anymore. I mean, it's still good, but you want that sort of bright lemony flavor in this soup. It's really what makes it. And I got to turn my alarm off. Hold on. All right, there we go. So you see, in the amount of time I've talked to you about this, I have pretty much zested this whole lemon. This isn't something you want to do a day ahead of time. You want to do it right as you need it for the most part. This chicken is almost ready. That's why I'm going ahead and doing this. But then, see all that zest? Can you see that? There we go. So that's 1 lemon. I'll do the other one, get back to you. Okay, so I'm going to check on the chicken and see how it's looking. Looking pretty good. The meat's about to come off. It's going to be ready. See how that thigh looks. I might cook that thigh a little bit longer. I'm going to let them cook for probably another 5 minutes. They've probably cooked... you know what? I put them in here frozen. They were literally frozen. What I do is I buy a pack of leg quarters. And it's about 5 pounds of leg quarters, and it's maybe $4 or $5. Put them in the freezer, and I'll separate them out into pairs of them. So I don't know, there's probably 6 or 8 leg quarters in there, and it's a super cheap thing. But man, you can make so many meals out of it. It's a great thing to have around. But I'm gonna let these cook a little bit longer. They probably cooked 30 minutes, maybe 30 to 40 minutes, perhaps. I was getting some other stuff ready, so I'm going to cook just a little bit longer. And in the meantime, I am going to work on my eggs. Hold on one second. I'm going to do something first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I want to do 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks. See them in the frame there. 2 egg yolks, and I do it right in the trash can. So you may have seen me do this on another video, but if you haven't, what I do is I crack the egg, try to get it in the middle, open it up. There's a little cap there. And I'm not going to save the whites. Now, you can save the whites and make an egg white omelet. You can make some meringue. You can do a variety of things with it. But really, all I want is the yolk, okay? So, the yolk, it burst. I don't really care. Let's do it again. Ooh, really cracked the crap out of that one. I don't know how this is going to work. You know what? I'm going to use this one. It was just sitting on top of that anyway. So... do that till it's out. Egg yolk and 1 whole egg. Now, like I said, the chicken is not quite ready yet, so I'm going to let it keep boiling. I'm going to need to do some stuff to it, but I'm going to scramble this really good. And then what I will do is I will take the hot water from the, it's going to be the stock, and I'll bring this up to temperature. I'll do this last. And I'll bring it up to temperature and then reintroduce it into the stock. That way we're not just pouring egg yolks into boiling water or hot water, because it'll just scramble. It'll just have like egg drop soup at that point, and I don't really want that. What this does, it actually makes it kind of creamy. I've tried to make it without it, and it tastes okay, but something about the egg just makes it right. So we're going to do it right this time. So I'm checking on the chicken, and it looks pretty good. I think it's going to be about right. Hold on a second. I'm going to pinch some of this off of that thigh. I think it's coming off of there. Okay. What we're going to do is when we take this out of here, we're going to pull this chicken off once it's cooked. And it looks like it is cooked, because it's literally just pulling off the bone, which is perfect. So I am going to take these 2 thighs out of here. And remember, this was just water. Just tap water. There's our chicken thighs. Any more little pieces in there? I think I got it all. Okay. So we have our chicken. That's our chicken. Let that cool for a little bit. And while we're waiting for that to cool, I am going to get a ladle full of this hot water. I'm going to keep it hot. A ladle full of this hot water. Maybe 2. And in that, I am going to take a couple of spoonfuls. You know what? Need a spoon. Hold on. Back with a spoon. A couple spoonfuls of this chicken bouillon. I love this stuff so much. It's almost out. I usually buy 2 or 3 at a time because I use this. Now, if I had made stock, like if there's a way to make stock where you use carrots and onions and celery, and you cook it all day and you reduce it down and all that kind of stuff. Well, I just got off work. I don't have time for that. Most people don't have time for this. And honestly, that's kind of what this stuff is. They've already taken chicken and reduced it down. So it's super chickeny. And also, it's fairly salty. So what you're going to want to do at the end of this is salt to taste. What I'm going to do is, now that I've got this all blended, I'm going to pour it back in there. pour that back in that stock and let that mix up real good. There we go. Put that in the dish, put that in the sink in a minute, and I am going to go ahead and introduce my lemon zest. And let that lemon zest go. I'm going to wait on the Parmesan. I've already shredded the Parmesan. And I'm going to use this bag of Orzo. They usually come in a box, kind of like this, or a bag, but they're roughly kind of small. A small dosage of this. And this is how much? This is 1 pound. Am I going to use all of this? Yeah, I am going to use all of it. I always regret that I don't use all of it, and this time I am. So basically a pound of Orzo in there. And that's probably going to cook for, I think, about 9 minutes. Sorry, 6 minutes. Set the timer. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And this stuff is also going to swell, so the next day it's actually, I don't know, more noodle-like. It's hard to explain, but it's really good. Bring that back up to high, so we'll come back to a boil. Let's stir it real good once. And in the meantime, I am going to try to pick this chicken apart after it cools just a bit. Okay, so I'm taking the Parmesan that I had here and just pouring that bowl that I had before. I'm going to use this plate again to put bones and skin and stuff that I don't actually want. So what you'll do, right now this is super hot, so I'm going to try to use the tongs and fork, but you're going to just sort of pull this meat off like this and save it, taking the skin off and throwing it away. What am I doing? Actually, I want to do this. I want to put all the chicken in the bowl, put the skin and everything in the pan, because I'm stupid right now. Got a little nervous. I think that's fat and skin. And do all the chicken. I'm not going to make you watch all that, but I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I have taken the chicken off the bone, thrown away the skin, the bones, and that's what we have left, which is a fair amount of chicken for 2 leg quarters. And additionally, I have turned off the soup, or the stock. The Orzo has cooked the obliged 6 minutes, and what I'm going to do now is, this is the fun part, is it's also very important that you do it right. Wait a minute, there's a little piece of skin there that I want to get out of there. Is that all? Yeah. Okay. So do it this way. Start with the right, pour with the left. So get a ladle. You can do it with a cup too. I'm just going to use a ladle because I already dirtied up a ladle. And I'm going to slowly just drizzle it into this egg mixture. What this does is it gets the egg up to temperature so that it isn't like shocked and scrambled when you pour it into this mix. Remember, I've already put the zest in it. So now I'm going to introduce the egg into it, and I'm going to stir, and get that really incorporated. Now that is going to cook the egg, but it's not going to be in like scrambled parts. So I'm going to keep that moving, and I'm going to put all of this chicken in there. Do we want all the chicken in? Okay, so put all this chicken in there. You don't have to put all of it if you don't want to. You can put any of it if you don't want to. When Morgan was eating, our vegetarian was eating with us, we would keep it separate and put it in our plate. But it's better this way. So, still stirring. I'm going to go ahead and also put in the Parmesan cheese that I had to protect from Lauren because she wanted to eat it all. Had lemon zest and Parmesan. I mean, what's wrong with that? And then I'm also going to cut and squeeze. That looks good. I'm going to cut and squeeze this lemon in it. Thank you. My assistant is helping me today. Thank you. So let's cut the lemon. And a little trick, you can actually use your hand as a sieve if you need to. So just kind of squeeze it into your hand and let it kind of drizzle through your fingers and catch all those seeds. You can also use a little handheld thing. You could strain it out. They've got the little citrus sort of squeezers that are also good, but I'm going to put all of this lemon in here. Will you bring the trash can back over here too so I can throw this away? Or at least that plate. Just give me the plate. Thank you.
Ew.
Ew, she says. So there's those two. Let's cut this one as well. Squeeze it. So this is a very lemony, chickeny goodness. It's really good with bread. I made some bread. You can do it with French bread. It's also just good. We've done it with salad as well. But tonight we're kind of doing it old school, bread and soup. It's super easy to make. I'm going to make a shout out to my 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Potter, whose husband is having trouble eating solid foods. So hopefully she will see this video and will make it and will comment, and hopefully Teapot will love it. So where'd my ladle go?
Oh, you put it in the bowl.
Oh, I put it in the bowl. I need a ladle back.
It's kind of watery.
Well, it's all right. So there is our Greek soup. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test it to see if it needs a little bit of salt. But all the bouillon that I put in there probably is going to give it enough salt. And if I need more, I'll add it. But that is the stuff. I may let it sit and just sort of rest for a little bit. Some reason soup gets a little bit better if it's not like just piping hot. So I'm going to let it rest for a little bit while we prepare for dinner, and I'll show you what it looks like later. But there you go, Greek soup. Enjoy.